Hey everybody, today I'm going to show you guys on the 2015 Ram how to put these little flush mount LED pods up in these little plastic pieces right here. I've already done one to make sure that it works, and I haven't done the other one yet. I've got the piece taken out, but I'm going to show you guys how to do this because if you're like me and you've got this bumper right here with no fog lights in it, and you wanted some off-road lights like I did, there's not really a great off-road light that'll fit in there, but I found out that these flush mount pods fit in. You have the room to put two in each side. It's just a kind of difficult process to get it in there, but I'm going to show you how to do it either way. And I've already got this plastic piece taken out, like I said, and you're going to have to bear with me because I don't have someone else to hold the camera for me, so you're probably not going to actually get to see me do a lot of the stuff that I'm doing, but I'll show you step by step what I've done. So when you have the pod by itself, and you come over here, you can stick it up in kind of like this to see where it's going to go. See, you can see that you can fit two of them in here. I'll flip it around. Maybe I can line up the camera. There's room for two of them in here, which is ultimately my goal, but I've only got one set right now. But you can come in here, you can stick this up in to this hole. There we go. There's a certain way it goes in super easy. If you put the top in first and then the bottom, it'll fit into this hole, even though the bracket's technically too big. You can move it left and right and drill your pilot holes for where you want this to be mounted, which I have already done. I spaced them out so that I could fit two in here, and you can look at it right here. I've got these tiny little holes. Oh, they're right there. There's one, there's another. I've got these two tiny little holes drilled so that I know where the side of my bracket's going to go once this thing is mounted in here, which will be right about right there. And then, honestly, from here you just kind of, what I did, sorry again, one-handed, I lined up those holes, and I just came in with a black Sharpie, and I marked just outside of both sides of the thing, because you can see the black Sharpie on the black plastic, and then it'll come off pretty easy, and so that's not a big deal. And then I come over here, and I mark where the top is and where the bottom is. And then I am just using a Dremel to cut mine out. This is a Dremel with the round wheel on it, just a little buzz blade. And it just like rips through this plastic. It's super easy to cut. So I'm going to cut my little square out, and then I'll come back and show you guys the next step. Alright, so here we go. I got the piece cut out. Black, just a little square. That's probably the wrong one. There we go. That's the one from this one. And if we stick this in, just run the wires up through there. Fits right in about where it's going to. It's not going to sit flat unless you cut out the top and bottom a little bit more, but I don't recommend that you do that simply because of how it fits on the truck, and I'll show you that right now actually. That's where we're going next. So I didn't mention, but these little plastic pieces just have two screws on each side, 4 total, and it's pretty easy to find your way out of it, or find its screws to get it out. So what I'm doing is you put it into the truck like this with nothing in it. Because, let me get up under here. That low-hanging air dam is kind of in the way. Getting in and out of this thing, but that's okay. Let me get my flashlight and move it over. Oh, there we go. This piece right here gets in the way if you try to put the plastic cover for your bumper in with the light on it. There's no way that the light and the bumper will fit around. Actually, I don't even think the light will fit in there on its own. So, bear with me as I try to do this one-handed. Oh, can't see, can you? Just kind of get this and force it back in here. About right there. You don't need it to fit like it's going to fit in the truck when you're done, because if you look up under here, there are these little metal brackets, and if you're not careful, let me show you from the outside. If you're not careful about where those are, if I can get this thing. Then these brackets will get in the way of your light. You can see right there, the top of the bumper piece is right here, and it hangs just over the top of this metal piece. So you got to be very, very careful of this. If you line up your light correctly, the heat sink will fit just right around this, and it'll sit on there just right. I got lucky with my first one. I didn't even know that was there. But anyways, I'll get back to this. The flashlight's going to keep flashing you. But I don't want to go move it. I did not put this in here correctly, because this is being difficult. Let me put you guys down for a minute. There we go. So this is what you want. You want this to be in here just loose, no screws, no nothing, so that you can manipulate it to get your light in here. And this part right here is the difficult part. Because you gotta line it up, which is even harder with one hand. You have to line it up into that square that you cut, and you gotta shimmy the top and bottom into your bumper so that both top and bottom are behind it, and it doesn't stick out over the top. So let me do that, and I'll get it shimmied in there, and then I'll come back and show you guys how to position it correctly. Alright, there it is. Loosely in there. It's not finished yet, obviously. But I just wanted to show you guys that it fits in there. It's still loose in here. Those metal brackets that are in here, if you look at it, are right here, where both my fingers are. So try to go to the left of that to put the light in. If you can, mount the light to the left of that and to the right of that if you do two of them, instead of right on top of it like I did. But definitely go to the left of it. There's plenty of space right here for another light. These dumb mosquitoes. But this next part is the absolute hardest part. Positioning it back in, just like that, just because of those metal brackets. Another thing you might be able to do if you are so inclined is you could shave off the top part of your light, and that would just slip right in. Alright, but here we are. And this, let me move my flashlight. That little screw holder piece right there needs to go back behind that bracket that it's up against, which is pretty far back, to line up with that screw bracket hole. That one is up there. And then there's two right here. Those two are easy to line up once you're to that point. Here we go. Get my light back up in there. And this part, you really just have to really work at it. The brackets, move my light again. The brackets up in there are going to rub across the top of your light, but I promise it moves over. And if you're struggling with it too hard, grab a rubber mallet. I used one, and it helped me out tremendously on the one part I was really stuck on. But this is how far over we've got to go. It's a couple of inches, but I'm definitely going to need two hands to do this. So I'll do that, and then I'll get it wired up and show you guys what they look like. So be right back. Alright, so your final step doing this is to drill the holes on your brackets. And I'd recommend you do this last so that you can get it in here, get it seated kind of how you want it. Make sure that it's flat and level and all that fun stuff. And then decide where your holes are going to go. And let's see, the mounting stuff is over there. It comes with, the lights I bought come with 4 screws, a lock washer, and a nut. And these did not come with the Allen wrench. Most of them do, but these did not. And make sure that goes right in there. We'll do number 2. Just do all 4 of them the same way. Then you can get back behind, and it's kind of tricky, but you can get the nuts and washers all on there. And then once I get it tightened up, I'll show you how to get it wired with a proper wiring harness, and then we'll see how they look. Alright guys, I ran out of daylight yesterday, so I didn't get to show you how I wired it up, but it's pretty simple. Just use a wiring harness that's meant for off-road lights, and the outside is pretty easy. There's a bunch of videos on that. Inside, if you look back in there, that white wire comes through that grommet. It comes up, and I tapped into this 12-volt outlet because it's on the key. It shows right there. So that if I just want to leave the switch on all the time, I can have those as my running lights, since my truck doesn't have running lights. Or just when I'm driving with my headlights on, then I can just flip it on or off separately with a switch. I didn't want to drill yet. It's not permanent. I'm going to end up adding some extra stuff later. But let's go ahead and show you what they look like. But there they are working. There it is. You can see they're about the same brightness as the headlights. So they're perfect for using as driving lights. You won't get pulled over for it. Nothing crazy. And then I'm not going to touch the switch. I'll just go ahead and take the key out of the ignition. And there we go, they're turned off. So that's how I wired those in. It's pretty easy to get behind the console to pull that apart, there's, let me show you, I guess. To pull your console apart, you take this little mat out with just a flathead screwdriver or something. Then there's a Torx screw here and a Torx screw here. They're a pretty common sized Torx screw. I can't remember off the top of my head, but they're pretty easy to pull out. And then after you do that, you just grab your dash up here and start pulling it apart. Just pull it out, and this whole piece comes off as one section. Except for the radio, this hole comes off and the radio stays in there. That's pretty normal. There's a lot of room back in here, so you don't have to worry about having to snake wires through crazy places. It's pretty spacious. The only hard part is grabbing the wire for this, but it's very, very doable. It's not impossible at all. But that's how I wired mine up, and that's what they look like. So I hope this helps you guys out. They're not like crazy light bar off-road lights gonna see for miles type of things, but they're definitely cool looking, I feel like. And especially once I get my new headlight bulbs in, they'll look pretty good, and I'll be able to use those as fog lights since my truck didn't come with any. But anyways, like I said, hope you guys enjoy. Like, subscribe, tell your friends, and stay tuned for more.